Well, another crazy wild weekend in the NFL, extended weekend in the NFL is behind us. What did we learn this weekend from the NFL action that took place? We're going to get into that. We learned a few things about a few teams, some surprising, some not so surprising. We're going to get into that as we try to sort all this out for the final weekend of the season. There's still two playoff spots that's still up for grabs. We'll get into that. Plus, I will preview the first two college football playoff quarterfinal games. The Miami Ohio State Cotton Bowl game, which will be Wednesday night, and the Oregon Texas Tech Orange Bowl game, which will be Thursday, early Thursday. Those are the first two games. I'll preview those, and we'll get into a little bit more about the NFL playoffs. It's going to be wild. It's going to be crazy. But then again, today is Manic and Panic Monday on the Sports Ozone. Big O with the big mouth coming at you on a Monday, Manic and Panic Monday, December 29th, 2025. And I hope everybody watching and listening had a great, safe, and joyful Christmas holiday. I know I did. So, we saw a lot of NFL action. There was 3 games on Christmas Day. There was 1 game on Saturday. Everybody else played on Sunday. We got 1 more game tonight. So they spread the the NFL cheer throughout the Christmas weekend, and I enjoyed every bit of it. But let's get into it. What did we learn? What did we learn from week 17? One thing we did learn, at least one thing I learned, the Chicago Bears are for real. The Chicago Bears, ladies and gentlemen, are for real. They went toe to toe, literally toe to toe with the San Francisco 49ers in Santa Clara, and came within probably, I would say, a yard of winning that game last night. I'm pretty sure you saw the ending to that wild 42-38 win San Francisco held on to get last night. Chicago did not blink when the 49ers drove downfield and got the go-ahead touchdown. The Bears didn't blink. Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears offense did not blink. They took it right back downfield on them and had a chance, literally had a great chance to win that game last night. If Caleb Williams would have stepped into that, I believe if Caleb Williams would have stepped into that throw when he threw it in the end zone, I know he was flushed out of the pocket, rolling to his left, looking for somebody to get open. And if he'd have stepped into that throw, it would have hit that receiver right in his chest, and the Bears probably would have pulled out that win. That's how close that game was. It was back and forth. I mean, it started with a pick six, and you think, oh, the Bears, here we go. And then the Bears scored again, and then it was just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, all game long. It was probably the most exciting game of the year up to this point, in my opinion. And the Bears showed me that they're going to be a problem in the NFC playoffs. If the Chicago Bears defense can get a stop or two, or if they get turnovers, ladies and gentlemen, the Chicago Bears, yes, they are going to be a problem in the NFC playoffs. They're going to be an issue. They've already won the NFC North, so they're going to get a first-round playoff game at home. They blew their chance to get the first-round bye and get home field when they lost the game last night. But they will be getting a home playoff game in Chicago. And I'm telling you guys right now, you Joes and Janes out there, they're going to be a problem. You better game plan. Whoever's going against that team in the first round, you better game plan. I don't care who it is. The Rams, the Packers, whoever it is. You better game plan for that team. Caleb Williams, to me, he's arrived. And my thought process was the Bears are about, I think, a year early as far as their comeuppance. They are about a year early. I thought the Bears would be this good next year after their first year head coach would, establish his culture and, the game plan and everything. Ben Johnson. I thought they were a year away. But nope. Bears showed up. The Bears are here. And they're going to be a problem in the NFC playoffs. They were that close. They were close. Like I said, if Caleb Williams had a chance to step into his throw when he threw that pass in the end zone, it would, because it landed about 3-4 yards short of the player he was trying to hit. He steps into that throw, Bears win that game. And oh boy, then you're looking at they might be the 1 seed. They could very well be the number 1 seed in the NFC if they'd have won that game. As it is, the 49ers gutted the game out, and Brock Purdy, he's undefeated since came back, but this was his toughest test. Since he returned from his injury, he's 6-0. But playing the Browns, they play some cupcakes. The Browns, the Cardinals, the Titans. They didn't play nobody good. This was his first sternest test. And I have to say, he passed with flying colors. He led that team. He refused to let that team lose, Brock Purdy. That's another thing we've learned. Brock Purdy refuses to let his team lose. Especially with so much on the line. He did. The 49ers needed that game to have even a chance to become the number 1 seed in the NFC and to win the NFC West. They needed the game, and somehow, some way, they got it. But I've also learned that 49ers definitely are going to be missing Nick Bosa and Fred Warner on defense. They need those guys because they have nothing. They have no pass rush whatsoever. I think they're the team with the lowest amount of sacks in the NFL. I think they want to have 18 or 19 sacks. Ladies and gentlemen, Myles Garrett of the Cleveland Browns has 22 on his own. He has 22 sacks on his own. The 49ers only have 19. You got to be able to get some pass rush. Now, the 49ers, offensively, they can score on anybody. They showed that last night. Kittles and Mr. Do-It-All, Christian McCaffrey, and with Brock Purdy, fully healthy, he throwing for touchdowns and running for touchdowns. That offense hums. No problem with that offense. But I don't know if they have the defense to go all the way to the Super Bowl. I don't know. That's one of my burning questions. Do the 49ers have enough on defense to take them all the way to the Super Bowl? Not unless Bosa, no Fred Warner's out, but there's been some little scuttlebutt, few little reports that saying that Fred Warner's rehab has gone way ahead of schedule, and he just might return for the playoffs. If the 49ers get to, let's say, the divisional round or the NFC Championship game, Fred Warner might come back. There's been a little scuttlebutt about that. So they could definitely use him. and Bosa. They could definitely use them on defense because they're too easily scored upon because they have no pass rush. I mean, Caleb Williams, you know, in some plays he can sit back there, order Uber Eats, you know, call his woman, hey baby, how you doing? You know, do his taxes, talk to his accountant, and then make the throw. He has too much time to throw. 49ers have very little pass rush. And without Warner and Bosa, they're going to have a problem with that come playoff time. Because you're going against teams that can throw the ball. You will be going against teams in the playoffs. The Rams, the Eagles, to a certain extent, Seahawks with Jackson Smith and Jigba. You're gonna be the 49ers got to deal with them next week. These guys can throw the ball, and you what if you have to see the Bears again? Caleb Williams has shown you what he can do, and he's shown the Bears ain't scared of you. They showed that last night. They ain't scared. They are not scared. They're not scared to play you whether in Chicago, in Santa Clara, in Timbuktu. They're not scared. So that's an issue. The 49ers' lack of a pass rush could come back and burn them come playoff time. They offensively, long as nobody gets hurt, they'll be fine. Long as everybody can stay relatively healthy, they can score on anybody, but they can be scored upon too. So I'm not sure about the 49ers going all the way to the Super Bowl. Not with that defense and the lack of a pass rush. But they got some unfinished business themselves. They did win the game, so that puts them in a position to be able to grab the number 1 seed if they can knock off the Seahawks next week. We'll get into more of all these games as the week progresses. Big O with the big mouth. Total Sports Ozone. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like what I'm saying. And drop a comment. I'm always here. I'll always read them, and I always like to hear what you got to say. Let's move on. Well, what did we learn about the Pittsburgh Steelers? We learned that they missed DK Metcalf. Now, as a Cleveland Browns fan, I am thrilled that the Browns pulled off that 13-6 win yesterday in Cleveland. I'm thrilled. Anytime the Cleveland Browns beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, no matter if one team is good, fighting for the playoff, or another team is bad, or vice versa, or both teams bad, or both teams are great. You beat the Steelers, that's the Browns' chief rival. You beat them, it's a good day. But putting on my objective hat, you can tell the way the Steelers offense played yesterday. They needed DK Metcalf. They needed him bad. And I'm safe to say, even as a Browns fan, it's safe to say that if DK Metcalf wasn't suspended, they probably would have pulled that game out yesterday. Because he's that go-to threat inside the red zone for Aaron Rodgers. He's that go-to receiver that can get you in that when they get inside the red zone, they can get that touchdown. And they could have used him. They could have used him yesterday. Because the Steelers, their offense was a little disjointed. Especially in the second half. The offense was just a little disjointed because Aaron Rodgers did not have a go-to receiver to get the ball to. He did not have that one receiver that break that deep threat that can get himself open. He didn't have that. And it showed in the way the offense clicked or didn't click in the second half of that game. Now, and I'm pretty sure every Ravens fan, Ravens player, they were thanking the Browns on social media and everything yesterday. And I liked what the Browns said. We can do this for you. But take advantage of it, Ravens, because now You have a chance to win the AFC North. You have a chance. You got the opportunity that you earned by beating the Green Bay Packers in Green Bay, with Derrick Henry having a monster game, and with the Steelers, not taking care of business in Cleveland. So you have that opportunity. So what have we learned about those two teams? Neither one of those two teams should be in the playoffs. I think whoever, now, for 4 teams in the NFL, the Ravens, the Steelers, the Tampa Bay Bucks, and the Carolina Panthers, the playoffs start next week. It's win or go home. NFC North, Steelers, Ravens, win or go home. That's the AFC North. My mistake. AFC North. Then the NFC South, Panthers, Bucks, win or go home. So the playoffs for those 2 teams start next weekend. Not the weekend after, next weekend. Playoffs start. It's basically win or go home from now on for all those teams. But what did we learn from the Ravens and the Steelers? Neither one of those 2 teams will do anything in the playoffs. I'm saying it right now. Neither one of them. The Steelers, the Ravens, they have too many holes. Too many holes to think that they could make a long run in the playoffs. I don't see it happening. The Steelers, they missed TJ Watt. They didn't have no pass rush. Although, yeah, they didn't have the pass rush that you would know from the Steelers. They didn't have that without TJ Watt. They missed him. They missed DK Metcalf. So their offense was disjointed. Somehow the Steelers are going to have to, because he's suspended for another game. Somehow, some way, the Steelers are going to have to rework their offense to somehow pull this game out without DK Metcalf next week. And they're at home. That's a slight advantage, but not much. Because good teams have come into Pittsburgh and blown them out because their offense has been disjointed. Like I said, the Steelers, for most of the season, has been like a yo-yo, up and down. You never knew from which week to the next what team you were going to get. I mean, we're talking about a team that hung how many points on Detroit? In Detroit? But they hung 28 on them? Hung 28 points on the Detroit Lions in Detroit? Then you go to Cleveland and only get 6 with no touchdowns? You gotta, because their offense is so up and down. I don't know what to expect from that offense from one week to the next. I definitely don't know what to expect from it now. Now the Metcalf is out. And now you're playing for basically your season. Now the Ravens, I know what they're going to do. Because Lamar Jackson, let's face it, Lamar Jackson is not Lamar Jackson this year. He's been playing hurt. When he's been in, he's been playing hurt. So I know what the Ravens going to do. Derrick Henry, take us home. Get us to the playoffs. And that's what they should do. And that's exactly what they should do. But neither one of these 2 teams are fit right now to make a long run in the AFC playoffs. Neither one of them. They have holes. They have too many holes in specific areas. For me, for Pittsburgh, it's their offense. Is too much of a yo-yo. Are you a running team? Are you passing? What are you? I don't know. Nobody knows. I don't even think Pittsburgh knows. What are you, a running team or a passing team? I don't know. I don't know. And for the Ravens, are you going to be healthy? Is Lamar Jackson going to give you what he needs to give you to get you over this hump and give you a deep run in the playoffs? I don't know. Playing hurt. Don't know. I doubt it. So basically, I don't see too much from neither one of those 2 teams to make a strong case for any of them making a deep run. I just don't see enough. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But from what I've seen, no. But one of these two teams are going to be in the playoffs. One of these two teams will be in the playoffs. I just don't expect much from them. Because in all likelihood, they're going to be playing either the Texans or the Bills. They're going to be playing the Texans or the Bills. And either one of them could pose a problem. We'll see. Big mouth, Total Sports Ozone. What else did we learn from this weekend? We learned that the Buffalo Bills need a wide receiver. They need a deep threat. And they don't have one. I know, but they don't have a deep threat. Josh Allen, he just has to do way too much. He's been asked to do, it looks like either he's been asked to or he wants to do way too much to keep this team even relevant. To keep this team even relevant in the AFC. He's been asked to do too much, and they need to get him some help. And if I'm the general manager of the Bills or whoever calls the shots as far as roster decisions, I'm looking hard, either in the draft, the free agency, or trade, whatever, to get him a number one wide receiver because he does not have one. And I'm thinking, how good? I mean, Josh Allen is great. Josh Allen is great, no doubt. But see, imagine how much more great would he be if he had a number one wide receiver. You imagine him with Jamar Chase, with Justin Jefferson, even with Emeka Ibuka from Tampa Bay. He had a deep threat. You imagine that? The Bills would be almost indefensible. They would be almost indefensible. Because you got to deal with Cook, because Cook ain't no slouch at running back. But you got to deal with Josh Allen, who is a threat to run and on any play. Oh, but what if you got that wide receiver? What if you double team him? Or you put the safety over the top just to cover that deep threat? Oh, the running backs are going to have fun. Oh, the tight end is going to have a ball. That middle going to be wide open. That's what the Bills need. And that's what I've learned from the Bills. The Bills do not have a deep threat at wide receiver. They don't. It's amazing they won as many games as they have without a deep threat, without a number one wide receiver. They don't have one. Really, they literally don't. And for them to win 11 games and be in the playoffs without a legitimate wide receiver, at least not a legitimate number one wide receiver, is a testament to how great Josh Allen really is. There's a reason why he's the reigning, defending league MVP, and he's showing it. But without a number one threat, you saw the game yesterday. The Eagles had the Bills' number for what? 3 2/3 quarters. Had their number. They had them shut down with about 5 minutes left in the game until Josh Allen became Superman again and came within a 2-point conversion, a really bad throw on a 2-point conversion from winning that game. So, and I'm saying it now, from looking at that game, from what I saw, that's going to be the Bills' kryptonite to Josh Allen as a Superman. Their lack of having a number one wide receiver that can threaten a defense deep. Doesn't have that. And for that, just don't know. I just don't know if Josh Allen is enough. Without a legitimate deep threat at wide receiver, I don't think Josh Allen's heroics will be enough to get them to the Super Bowl, especially now that they're going to be on the road. because they're only in as a wild card because of the loss. New England is now AFC East champs. So Buffalo's going to have to do this the hard way to get to the Super Bowl. But they don't have to worry about. They might not have to worry about Lamar Jackson. They definitely don't have to worry about Patrick Mahomes. So the Bills couldn't beat anybody in the AFC playoffs. They can beat anybody. But will it take a Josh Allen being Superman for them to do it? That's the question we have. That's at least the question I have for the Buffalo Bills. Big O with the big mouth. Total Sports Ozone. Like and subscribe, please. What else did we learn? What else did we learn? We learned the Seahawks. The Seahawks, to me, they're rightfully the best team in the NFC right now. They might be the best team in all of NFL. But they got flaws just like every other team is in the playoffs. Every other team. They got flaws. Their defense is top notch. Top notch. Their defense hard to score on. Yeah, but think about it. The Seahawks, I think, are 7-0 on the road. Have not lost on the road. Nope. I don't believe they've lost a game on the road all year. But I'm just... The defense can play up to... The defense, like, against weaker teams, the defense tends to play down a little bit. Against strong teams, they step up, but they're vulnerable to a team that can throw, especially a team that can throw over the middle. That's what the Rams did to them, and that's why the Rams almost beat them. Because they're susceptible on defense to teams that can throw it over the middle. Accurately over the middle. And they got to clean that up come playoff time. And you're still wondering about Sam Darnold. Can he get it done? I mean, this is the second year in a row where he's been on a team that's won 13 or more games. He did that last year. He won 13 games with the Minnesota Vikings and fizzled out in the first round of playoffs. Fizzled out. So that's the big question mark that we have on the Seahawks. What Sam Darnold are we going? Is Sam Darnold going to actually lift this team to higher heights? What he couldn't do when he was with Minnesota. I mean, regular season Sam Darnold, pretty good. Last couple of years, pretty good. No arguments for me. But come playoffs, what we going to see from Sam Darnold? What we going to see? That's the question we got. That's what we need to learn from the Seahawks. If we get Sam Darnold, the guy that led that charge in the comeback win against the Rams, if we get that Sam Darnold, instead of Sam Darnold that throws a couple of interceptions early in the game, the Seahawks might go all the way to the Super Bowl. Especially if they get home field advantage, which they will get if they can beat the 49ers next weekend. So there you go. Now, again, like I said earlier, there are 4 teams where the playoffs start this weekend. We got in the AFC, Steelers and the Ravens, and in the NFC, the Bucks and the Panthers. So these are the last playoff spots that still need to be decided. All the other playoff spots have been filled. Only thing left now is seeding. Patriots and Broncos are battling it out for the number 1 seed in the AFC. And the Seahawks and basically the 49ers are battling it out for the number 1 seed in the NFC. But you still got the Rams tonight. It's possible they could be the number one seed. Just all depends. All depends on how it work out. But 6 of the 7 spots in both conferences have been filled. The only thing left now is seeding, and we got one division spot in each conference that still needs to be decided. So for those 4 teams, the playoffs start now. This weekend, now, wherever you want to say it. Because you got to win or you're going home. Simple as that. Win or go home. And we already know, I'm pretty sure you Steelers and Ravens fans already know that the Ravens-Steelers game has been flexed to the Sunday night game for the NBC Sunday night game of the week. And it should be. And it rightfully should be. That's the marquee matchup. That's the biggest game of the week. I mean, we got other games that are big, but next week everybody's playing divisional opponent. But that's the biggest one. That's the biggest one. Yeah, you can say the Panthers and the Bucks. Yeah, you can say that's a big matchup, but the biggest one is the Steelers and the Ravens. You win or you go home. That's all it is. Win, go home. All these other games that have playoff teams in it is basically proceeding. Who's going to be the number 1 seed in each conference? Who's going to be the number 2 seed? Who's going to be going on the road in the playoffs and the wild card round, and so on and so forth. But for the Ravens, Steelers, Bucks, and Panthers, win or go home starts now. You better get right. You gotta get right. Big O with the big mouth. Total Sports Ozone. Like and subscribe, please. Please. Let's move on, though. Let's move on to the college football playoff. We can't forget about that. They got playoff games this week. Wednesday, Thursday, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. Got the playoffs, college football playoffs. So let's look into them. The first college football playoff quarterfinal will be New Year's Eve, December 31st. Cotton Bowl in Arlington, Texas, will pit the 10th seed Miami Hurricanes against the number 2 seed Ohio State Buckeyes. Not going to tell you which sports book is showing the spread, but right now Ohio State is holding a 9.5 as a 9.5 point favorite with an over under of 41.5. I will make my picks on this game Wednesday, but I'm just previewing these games today. Now, both teams. Well, let's say Miami. I like their front. I like Miami's front. They shut down Texas A&M in hostile environment, windy conditions. They shut down. They shut down a very potent offense in Texas A&M. I have to admit that they did shut them down on the road. Kept them out of the end zone. Forced a couple of turnovers, including the pick that won the game. So I like their front. Offensively, yeah. I'm not sold on Carson Beck. I'm sorry. I'm not. I am not sold on him as the savior for the Miami Hurricanes. For Miami to pull off what would probably be a mild upset against the Ohio State Buckeyes, it would probably be an upset. Beck is going to have to play out of his mind. He's going to have to play out. He can't turn the ball over. No. Can't turn the ball over. Not even once. Not even once. But he not turn the ball over. He's going to have to take care of the ball. And if you notice in Miami's losses, his 2 losses, he turned the ball over. He was a turnover machine. And their 2 losses, one at home to Louisville and the one on the road to SMU, he turned the ball over. If he doesn't turn the ball over, they have a chance. But they have not played the defense like Ohio State. We're talking about arguably the best defense in all the land. They've only given up in 13 games 10 touchdowns. In 13 games. That's less than one per game. That means basically if you score a touchdown against Ohio State, you might want to frame the football because it don't happen. You might want to take that football home, have it autographed, engraved, and put it in a glass case and put it on your shelf because it don't happen too often. They've only given up on a total of 8 points a game. 8. They do not let teams score, especially when they get in the red zone. They are probably the best red zone defense in all of college football. They've only given up in the red zone 6 touchdowns all year. 6. All year in 13 games. You give up 6 in the red zone. 6. Carson Beck, like I said, he will have to play probably the best game of the at least of this year. Has not turned the ball over. And he better hope his run game gives him some help. Like the run game did in the previous game. It gave him a little bit of help. Fletcher gave him a little bit of help, especially when at the end of the game. At the end of the game against Texas A&M, the running game gave him a little help, but he's going to need that and a little bit of more help if he wants to beat Ohio State. Now, on the other side of the ball, all Julian Sand has to do, take care of the ball. I think that's all Ohio State has to do. Julian Sand, we're talking about a guy that was a Heisman Trophy candidate, finalist, probably the most accurate passer this year, 79% completion percentage, 31 touchdowns, only 6 picks. All he has to do is just take care of the ball. Don't make bad throws. Don't make bad decisions. Take care of the ball. Now, Miami has a decent pass rush. I'm not going to front on that. They have a decent pass rush. They made life for Texas A&M quarterback Reed terrible. They made life for him terrible in that game, in the game in College Station. The offensive line needs to give Sand time to get the ball to his receivers. And then let's just face it. You're talking about the best wide receiving duo in the country with Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate. There are no better. There are no more comparisons. I don't even want to hear it. They are the 2 best wide receivers in the country. And if Julian Sand has time to get the ball to those receivers, this game could be over by halftime. If Miami does not apply enough pressure to Julian Sand to make him uncomfortable like they did it with A&M, this game could be over at the half. That's how good Ohio State, Julian Sand, Carnell Tate, Jeremiah Smith. And don't forget, the running game came alive towards the end of the season with Bo Jackson. Did get 1,000 yards rushing, so the running game came alive a little bit. And in the playoffs, I've always said you got to be able to run the ball a little bit. You got to be able to run the ball. Keep the chains moving, keep the clocks running, keep the possessions. You got to be able to run the ball somewhat. And Ohio State's running game came alive late in the season. So you also got to worry about that too if you're Miami. So, Miami hasn't played a team this year with so many weapons on it. How's that defense going to do? That's the question. Miami has yet to play a team with so many weapons. You got Julian Sand, you got Bo Jackson running the ball, and you can catch it out of the backfield. You got Jeremiah Smith on the one side, you got Carnell Tate on the other. You can't double team them both. You cannot double team them both. And again, the key, here's my keys to the game. Here's my official keys to Miami and Ohio State. For Miami, don't turn the ball over. Carson Beck, you cannot turn the ball over. You're going to be rushed, Harry. Life is going to be miserable for Carson Beck in this game. You're talking about a team that can get after the quarterback pretty damn well, especially Curry, the defensive end for the Ohio State Buckeyes, who led them with 11 sacks. 11 sacks and 16 tackles for loss. You going to get hurried. You just can't turn the ball over. You cannot do that. You can't do that against this defense. Especially, you don't want to put the ball, give a team like Ohio State extra possessions. You do, this game will be over. This game will be over rather early. For Ohio State, the offensive line. That's the key to Ohio State winning this game. The offensive line. Got to give Sand time to get the ball to his weapons. Colonel Tate, Jeremiah Smith, to the tight ends, to Bo Jackson, or whoever's the running back out of the backfield. That's all they got to do. That's all they got to do. Offensive line, do what you need to do. Keep saying upright. Give them time to get the ball to receivers. Do that, this game will be over by half. I truly believe that. But we'll see what happens. Yeah, and yes, there's been a little bit of bad blood, especially online for the Miami fans. They're still crying and complaining about that championship game that they lost to Ohio State back in 2003, where they think they got robbed on a bad call. But they need to get over it, but that's on them. So they might want to go in there, win this for the 0-2 team. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But Miami fans got to remember, you ain't played the team this good yet. You have not. You have not played a team this good. So you might want to pump your brakes. Don't think you're going to come in and dominate. Pump your brakes on that. Again, the key is Beck better play out of his mind. No turnovers, no mistakes. And he's going to have a hard time to do that against that defensive front for Ohio State. We'll see. Again, I will make my official pick on this game on Wednesday's show. Because this game is Wednesday night. So I'll make my picks for all the college football playoff quarterfinal matchups on Wednesday's podcast. Big O with the big mouth, Total Sports Ozone. Let's move on. Okay, that game, again, that game 7:30 Eastern, Wednesday, New Year's Eve. Now, let's move on to the next college football playoff quarterfinal, which will be New Year's Day at noon, the Orange Bowl. Weird that the Orange Bowl is going to be played during the day, but that's how they schedule it. It's just weird, though. Usually, the Orange Bowl is at night. The Orange Bowl is usually the prime time game. But with 3 big-time bowl games on New Year's Day, the Orange Bowl, Rose Bowl, and the Sugar Bowl, I guess they went by the matchups on who was going to be at night and who wasn't. So, the Orange Bowl game will be New Year's Day at 12 noon. Oregon, the number 5 seed, taking on the number 4 seed, Texas Tech Red Raiders. Both teams coming into this game 12-1. Both teams have great offenses. Fast. Can get up and down the field. My thing is, whose defense is the key to this game? Oh, yeah, by the way, Oregon Ducks are favored currently by 1.5 with an over-under of 51.5. And that's a pretty high over and under because this game is going to be determined on which defense can make that one signature play to get the team over the top. Now, Texas Tech have. If you look at both defenses, you would have to say Texas Tech is slightly better. Slightly. I will say that because of the way they handle BYU in the Big 12 championship game. They shut BYU down. They create turnovers. I think in the BYU game, the Big 12 championship, I think they had 4 turnovers. And they scored off 3 of those turnovers. So when Texas Tech's defense gets the ball, oh boy, you gotta like their chances. You gotta like their chances if Texas Tech can create turnovers. Their defensive line, led by Bailey with 13 and a half sacks, they get after the QB. They cause havoc, and that's what creates turnovers. And they capitalize on those turnovers. That's the key. That's the key for Oregon. Can they take care of the ball? If they can take care of the ball, they can score with anybody. Oregon has that kind of offense with Dante Moore and Benson, wide receiver. They have the offense where if they take care of the ball, don't put the ball on the ground, or don't no interceptions, they can score with anybody. Any team. And I'm talking any team. They can put up points, but they got to be able to take care of the ball. And with Texas Tech's defense, like I said, I lean Texas Tech defense a little bit better than Oregon, because Texas Tech has a little bit better competition against with their defense than Oregon has. I mean, Texas Tech, they're playing in the Big 12 where everybody scores. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's the Big 12. The Big 12, you don't know. You know the Big 12, you know they're not known for having great defense. It's like a defense optional league to me. So you gotta be able to put up some points in the Big 12. And for Texas Tech to be 12-1 and Big 12 champions, they must have played some defense, and they do. And they do. They have one of the better defenses in all of college football. Will it be enough? Because I don't think Texas Tech has played a team with an offensive firepower like Oregon. That's the question. Can Texas Tech's defense slow down Dante Moore and the Oregon Ducks? Few teams have done it. Very few teams have been able to slow down Oregon over the past couple of years. Few teams have been able to do that because they got speed. They got speed in running back. They got speed in wide receiver. They do have speed. Their offensive line does not allow too many sacks. Dante Moore, he's prone to throw an interception every now and then, but he doesn't get crazy with it, which is why they're 12-1. He's a very smart quarterback. That's why he's on a lot of teams' draft boards for next year's draft. A lot of people are saying that he could be the second quarterback coming off the board next year's NFL draft. He's a very smart and capable QB. And if he takes care of the ball, this team puts up points. Yes, indeed, they can put up points. He's thrown Dante Moore through for 3,000 yards, 28 touchdowns, only 8 interceptions. So if he takes care of the ball, they can score with anybody. Oregon's offense is that good. Can Texas Tech's defense, which is that good, slow them down? Slow them down enough to where allow Texas Tech's offense to take over. Can it create turnovers? Can it, limit? Can it get off the field on third down, especially third and short, third and medium? Can they do that? against Oregon's vaunted offense. That's the key. Oregon's offense against Texas Tech's defense. Which side of the ball will prevail? That's the key to who will win this game. Like I said, I'll give you my pick for this game on Wednesday's show. But that's how I see this game going. Wednesday, I'll give you my pick. But that's the key. That's the key to this game. Oregon's offense against Texas Tech's defense. Which side will prevail? We'll find out. Again, that game is New Year's Day, 12 noon Eastern. Big O with the big mouth, Total Sports Ozone. I will preview the remaining 2 quarterfinal games on tomorrow's podcast. Now, in closing, let me talk. I gotta say this because I am a Browns fan, and there's been so much scuttlebutt, negativity on social media, on Facebook and on Twitter and whatnot about the Browns winning yesterday's game and how it hurt them in the draft position. And now they look like they're going to be drafting, take number 6 instead of being in the top 3 because of yesterday's win. Let me tell you something. I'm going to say this for all those fans and all those haters and all those people who could poo-poo a win against the arch rival. You are not true fans. If you get mad over a win from a team that don't win too many games, that has not won too many games over the past 2 years, and you get mad because of how it affects draft position, you need to get over yourself. You're not a true fan. You're not. You're not a true blue fan. Those players, they play to win. They because of whatever talent scheme, whatever coaching, may not win too much, but they do play to win. They out there to compete. You think they're gonna be out there in the rain, in the cold, to lose? If they wanted to do, they can stay home. They stay home. Forget this. Those are the starters played a game that meant nothing for the Cleveland Browns. Nothing. But the starters out there, they played. You could have put the bench in. No. They played and they won. It wasn't pretty, but they won the damn game. And that's what we all as true fans want. We want to win. We want to see them win, especially against your arch rival. Like I said earlier in this podcast, I don't care if the Steelers are good and the Browns not, or vice versa, or both teams stunk, or both teams were in the playoffs. I don't care. You want to beat your rival. I don't care what the damn situation is. I don't care if we draft 6th or 56. I don't care. It warmed the cackles of my heart to see my Cleveland Browns beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. Anytime we beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, it's a good day. You will not hear no complaints from me. You won't hear about, this win hurt. This shouldn't have won this game. This hurts us in the draft. Fans that think that way are always going to be losers. They're always going to accept losing. That's how I feel. If you can get mad at your team for winning their game because it hurts their draft position, that means you accept losing. You've accepted it. And I, for one, never accept losing. Losing for suckers. Losers for losers. I like winning. I like to see my teams win. And for the Browns, it don't happen too damn often. It damn sure don't happen often enough. But when it does happen, everything good with me for at least 1 week. And that's just how I see it. So all those fans that are hating on the Browns because they won a game, because of the damn draft and the draft position, learn how to be real fans. You cheer for your team, good or bad. That's a true fan. You root for your team whether they get on your nerve or not. That's a true fan. You're happy when they win, whether they're sorry or not. That's a true fan. And with that, I'm gonna call it a day. I'll see you tomorrow for Top 5 Tuesday. Again, that list is fluid and it will change. Because tonight we got the Falcons and the Rams. Rams, they definitely need this game. See where they can keep a high seed in the NFC playoffs. We'll recap that game tomorrow and Top 5 Tuesday. And then I will also preview the other two games, the Sugar Bowl between Ole Miss and Georgia, and the Rose Bowl between Alabama and Indiana. I'll give you my previews for those two games on tomorrow's version of the Total Sports Ozone. Y'all have a good day.